So right off the bat, they said, hey, when we welcome you, we want you to show us, we're going to have some media comes, a couple people from our Army. We want to see what you guys can do. And we said, okay. On top of that, they've also said that, America's here. We want to take you to meet our Chief of Defense. We want to take you to meet the ambassador. We want to take you to meet, so 1,000 conflicting priorities. So I grab my peanut butter cups and I say, hey, this is what we're going to do. We got to do a welcome ceremony. On an 8.5, 11 piece of paper, I do a little grid and I say, hey, I think we have this event going on. We're going to have some maintenance stuff. I want them to show what we're doing right now, putting tracks together. And then I want them to show the Bradley. They want to see the Bradley. Okay, so we're going to involve the Bradley. Let's figure out, let's find some terrain that lets it get muddy, that lets it go up and down berms. And then we've got the strikers. I don't even know what a striker can do. But I tell you what, we got a lieutenant and a platoon sergeant running around somewhere that does. Run them down, grab them, find them. Let's see what the strikers can do. And then, we're an infantry company, so let's figure out what our infantrymen can do. We don't have ammo yet, but I guarantee you there's some blanks around here somewhere. This is a NATO country. There's got to be 5.56. Let's find it, let's use it, let's put on the show. If we're going to do it, let's do it well. And I write this down, and I give it to Sergeant Stamps, and as I hand it to him, then Staff Sergeant Stamps, I say, hey, and you know what, Staff Sergeant Stamps? You know what would be real awesome? We're an NCO-based Army. The strength of us and what separates us from every other Army in the nation is that we have non-commissioned officers that are empowered. So it would be really cool if the Staff Sergeants gave all these briefings. Go.
So he gets it in 48 hours, we get it in probably 10. More like 24 hours. So we got 24 hours to prepare. Hello, chocolate, I am your peanut butter. So let's figure this thing out. So now, not only do we have to operate within our left and right limits that the commander has already preset for us, one, we have to do it in an hostile environment with a crowd that we don't know. And we have to absolutely remember that we are literally the face of the United States of America. Okay, so we have to know who our peanut butter cups are within our own formation. And that's to kind of caveat off of what Lieutenant General McFarland said yesterday. When you're looking at that X and Y axis, that smart, dumb, lazy, and energetic, we have to know who our stellar performers are so that we can place them in a necessary position to maximize the opportunity that's been given to them. So what you and I do as my platoon leader, we sit, we war game. Okay, what does the commander want? How can we best give them this demonstration? Okay, so we want to take everything that he gives us and not only meet his standard, but we want to exceed it and exceed it abundantly so that we build our cohesiveness within our team through mutual trust. Because once he sees that, it's just going to grow exponentially. So we war game it, and then we reach laterally across our formation because now we have to build the team and use the team that we've already built and through mutual trust, grabbing our counterpart striker platoon leaders and platoon sergeants, grabbing our maintenance team chief who's going to demonstrate his capabilities, and we have to somehow figure out who we can put out there to show, demonstrate, explain to people that, wait, do they even speak our language? So now we're back to square one. Very big problem. How do we communicate something to somebody that does not speak our language? Suggestions? Platoon leader, anybody? Show them. How do we show them? Okay. Anything else? Rock drills?
Hey, sound off so everyone can hear,
okay.
Please.
Anything else? Okay, breaking them down into small groups. So all of those things is what we did to be successful. We absolutely did rock drills or rehearsals prior to executing the mission. Okay, we broke them down into small groups so that we can control the flow of whomever we were going to be interacting with, so we can guide them into the appropriate areas and brief them the way we wanted to brief. You have to control your audience. All right, and you have to show them, because if they don't speak English, the best way to get something is to visualize it. You know, you got to see. Seeing is believing. So if I show you how my Bradley operates and what it can do for you, now you understand. It's more than just me speaking to it. If I show you what the striker is capable of, if I show you how we can fight side by side to achieve a mission, that seeing is believing. That's where you're going to get the best bang for your buck. But it takes dedicated and flexible leadership and knowing your soldiers within your formation to be able to do that. Any questions?
So then here we are, game day. Well, where was I the last 48 hours? We know we learned the 8-step training model, right? And MS4 something. It's somewhere along the way. I'm supposed to come back. We're going to do rehearsals. I'm going to do some supervision, troop leading procedures. I'm going to make sure it's done right. Didn't happen. I was in the Capitol shaking hands, redefining what key leader engagement meant. So there I show back up that morning. You know, the vehicles are getting pulled up online. They're working like it's good. And then my brigade commander shows up and he says, hey, so you're doing this demonstration. Are you good? Yeah, we're good, sir. I have no idea. This is your reality. This is going to happen a lot. You're going to get tasked to do things, and you're going to be expected to perform. And then your boss is going to say, hey, I empowered them. I trust that they know what they were doing. Yes, sir, we're good to go. Then who showed up behind my brigade commander was the deputy USAR commander, the chief of defense from the Estonian military, the ambassador, the U.S. ambassador to Estonia, and the prime minister of Estonia. And we said, oh, okay, so are we good? That's mission, mission command. That's it. That's the Army, you know, ladies and gents. This is what I need you to do. Do you understand what I want you to do? I expect that you're able to do it. Go forth and do good things. And then, sir, if you want to take it from there, what you saw.
I'll transition you there. So literally, you know, I got a 2-star general looks at me and goes, hey, we're good? And that's the answer. I don't know. I mean, I said, sure. But this was the outcome, all right? So you have right here, that's a U.S. Army Bradley from Fort Hood. That's a U.S. Army Bradley from Fort Hood. That's a Stryker from Germany, and that is an Estonian CV-90. They executed a coordinated multinational platoon attack, narrated, assaulted a building, then put the Estonian parliament members on a Bradley for a ride so they understood how the thing worked. Sergeant Stamps narrated all the capabilities of a Bradley itself, and to show them maintenance, they used their M88. Anybody know what that is? Tracked recovery vehicle. It's got a boom and a winch, and actually lifted a Humvee right there. Exactly what the USAR commander was looking for. Exactly the message that our nation wanted to show the people of Estonia, maybe the people in Russia, but definitely our NATO allies, that not only were we there, but we brought armored forces to that part of the world. All right? And so when we say mission command and trust, it's competence, character, commitment, all together. Not one without any of the others. All right? So I'm going to go to another example. So we talked about how important the, our engagement there was, and how these nations were all used to be part of the Soviet Union. This picture is Alpha Company. That's First Sergeant Thornhill's company marching through Riga, the capital of Latvia, at their Independence Day celebration. And this is a picture of the 2nd SCR company, that's C Troop, marching through the capital Vilnius of Lithuania at their Independence Day celebration. This is a picture of Bravo Company. That's Captain Kleinsorge. That is the commander of all of the military forces of Estonia. That is the president of Estonia. That's the U.S. ambassador to Estonia there. So that one, I got an email about 11 o'clock at night that said the president of Estonia is going to visit Bravo Company tomorrow. But that's kind of a big deal. I was in the middle of a training event, and I had stuff to do. So Theo, how did that go for you?
Well, it went, sir. So we've been there, we've been country for right at 40 days, doing what we were there to do, doing training. To the point that we'd been 5 kilometers from the Russian border, doing training in mechanized vehicles, shooting bullets, doing awesome things, building a relationship with the Estonians. And you'll find, like in any country you work with, everyone has their culture, everyone has their way of doing business. Trust meant something entirely different to the Estonians. So it took a while. They wanted to figure us out, make sure that we were worthy of the visit of the president, that we weren't going to screw that up. So I go to a training meeting with the brigade commander, Colonel Kamos. We sit down, hey sir, this is what I'm laying out, this is what I think we're going to do, the next 2, 3, 4 weeks. And then at the end of it, he says, oh hey, the Estonian president's going to come visit the post tomorrow. I really want him to meet your guys and see what it is that you do. Or he said, they're going to come visit on the 27th. And I was like, hey, yeah, roger, sir. It's the 26th. Okay. What do you want to see, sir? So again, he kind of laid out, well, this is what I think you guys can do. You know, you did that awesome demonstration when you first got here, maybe something similar. So where did I go? My peanut butter cup. I was like, hey, remember that thing I did and I drew? Do you still have that piece of paper? We're going to do that all over again. Get the staff sergeants out. Let's do something awesome. By the way, this is the president of Estonia. So what do you think my staff sergeants felt like when they got told you're going to go talk to the president of Estonia? Is that something staff sergeant's trained to do? Not really. Is that something that you make a staff sergeant capable of doing? Absolutely. That is your task. So the president came. He got a brief by Sergeant Stamps. He talked about everything about that vehicle. And there was one proud platoon leader standing behind, one Lieutenant Duvall standing back there like nodding his head like, yeah, like that's my guy. He knows what he's doing. Because he groomed him and made him this awesome NCO that you see right here in front of you. Do you want anything to add there, brief from the president?
Sure. So I think, again, we go back to mutual trust and competence, character, commitment, all of those things that encompass you being successful as a platoon leader. And realizing where your talent lies within your formation. When you can do that, and when you have somebody that embraces that, you will absolutely be successful. The thing that kind of stuck out to me, one, is when he said, oh, by the way, literally, oh, by the way, it's the president of Estonia. Wait, what? First reaction, who? Wait, what? Not my job. Wait, what are we talking about here? Hold on, sir. You got it, take care of it. It showed me a level of confidence that my chain of command had in me to literally be the face of America again, in front of a political leader of that stature. So be a flexible leader, build that relationship, and foster the environment for your soldiers and yourself to thrive. Sir?
Yeah, thanks. So, you know, we talked a lot about trust. We gave you a lot of good examples of things that happen positively. But not everything that happens is positive, and not all trust works from top down. So, for Bravo Company, they had some other challenges. And Theo, why don't you talk us through the bus trip?
So there we are, 2 days before Thanksgiving. We were reaching a break in the training that we were conducting. We were going to put on this big event for, you know, in Estonia, they don't have Thanksgiving like what we do. And we said, hey, we're going to share some of our culture with you. And they said, well, hey, yeah, you've been here, but you guys train all the time. Like, you're working on Saturdays and Sundays. We don't understand this. You know, if you're going to be with us, you need to know what it is to be in Estonia. You guys got to get off the base, out of the training area, and you need to go do stuff. Put on your civilian clothes if you brought them, and experience our culture. We want to share that with you. So we went and did it. You know, the guys had a great Saturday. We came back. Life was great. Complaint? Well, we deployed on General Order Number 1. So General Order Number 1 means you can't do what? Drink. So it's kind of like being at the academy when they close the first club all the time. The lieutenants came back and they said, you know, sir, we keep talking, like we're training with the Estonian battalion. They keep telling us that, you know, that's what their culture is. We got to be able to drink the, Old Tallinn. It's awesome. It's supposed to be amazing. We want to do this. We're going to sit down. Let us do it. So I look at my lieutenants and I say, yeah, absolutely. We'll figure this out. Because I've sent you on the other side of the country to train by yourself, and you've done nothing but great things. You have displayed competence in what your ability to do your job. So come back to me, give me a plan. So they do the risk assessment, and they say, hey, hey, sir, we're only going to drink, 4 drinks per person. We already know who our lightweights are. We're going to keep them at 2. NCOs are going to be with everybody. We're going to have phones. It's going to be awesome. We're going to be squared away. And you already see where this is going, right? But I called my boss, and I was like, hey, sir, this is what we really, really, really want to do. We want to get out. We want to experience the culture. We're in Europe. Drinking is a part of what you do when you're in Europe. I have some soldiers that are stationed in Germany. They're European aware. Let's go do that. My boss says, absolutely. I have empowered you to this point. I trust you. You're empowered. I say to my lieutenants, hey, I've empowered you. I trust you. Your job. So what happened? You've heard this story 1,000 times. What happened? Louder. Someone didn't follow the plan, right? We had a plan, we didn't follow the plan. So within 6 hours, I had a phone call from one of my platoon sergeants that said, hey, sir, there's a soldier in the hospital. So I get to the hospital, soldier drank so much, he was having problems breathing. I don't know how you do that, but Joe finds a way. I said, okay, well, we got a problem. So who's the first person that I went, as soon as I got back to Tapa, who's the first person that I went to go see? Platoon leader, right? Responsible for everything that his formation does and fails to do. And I knock on his door and I said, hey man, open up, what's up? And no response. And so I knock on his door again, no response. So with a little infantry, TTP, we got into the room and we said, hey, what the heck, man? And there lay the lieutenant, still in his clothes, still wearing his shoes. I've been to the first club a couple times on Thirsty Thursdays and woke up on Friday still wearing what I was wearing that Thursday, and we called that passing out. This lieutenant had passed out. What the heck, man? What's the deal? Well, come to find out, not only had that lieutenant's formation not followed the rules that were set, but that lieutenant himself had not followed the rules that it set. Well, what does that tell me about the lieutenant? What do you think? Say again? Absolutely. Why not? Because he doesn't possess the discipline. And then we talked about those C's earlier. We had commitment, competence, and what was the other one? Character. What empowers you to go operate alone and unafraid and be independent? Character. Why? Because you have the ability to police yourself. You are an integral person, Army value. You can say, this is what right is, and I'm going to ensure that we maintain what right is. So then, 2 days later, sir, you want to jump in there with what you got from this incident?
Yeah, I forgot how we got to this point last time. So the first phone call I get is from the embassy. The defense attaché in the embassy calls me and says, hey, there's vomit in the buses, there's pizza smeared all over the place, we don't know what the heck happened, but Estonia is not a big country, and I think you should call the chief of their defense forces and apologize for the soldiers messing up that bus. Pretty significant, huh? So he wants me to call the chief of their defense forces. Is that my engagement? Well, it is today. So I do that piece. So the battalion commander, Theo's boss, called the commander of the brigade that gave us those strikers. Just talked to those guys and said, hey, this is what happened, we're investigating it. That battalion commander made a decision to change out those platoon leaders. And within 5 days, we had new platoon leaders in that location, right? And why did we make that decision? Character, that's an easy answer, but unpack that a little bit. What's that mean? Trust. Absolutely. So which way does trust go in a military formation? Both ways. Do you have to earn trust? Absolutely. So often when you're a cadet, you think about, will my commanders trust me? Will they give me the leeway to lead my platoon? But the flip side of that is, how do I earn their trust? How do I make sure that standards are enforced in my formation so that when my boss comes, when we have to perform, we're doing things the right way and we can accomplish the mission? Does that make sense to everybody? All right? It's a hard lesson. It's a hard lesson. We don't talk about hard things, then we don't get these lessons out. And that's really what, we want to make sure we didn't just tell you the good stories, but we also told you stories that are a little more challenging. Yes? For that LT that made that mistake, what's next for him? Now, we removed them from that job. Probably counseling. And I would say a corrective rehabilitative transfer.
Sir, I can answer that.
Oh, okay.
So
go ahead.
When those lieutenants were replaced, the 2 new lieutenants flew up with that squadron executive officer, the major. He grabbed those 2, delivered me the new